Welcome back to another episode of the Sporting Blueprint podcast. In this episode, we are joined by Max Brown. Max is a content creator who has gained hundreds of thousands of followers across all social media platforms and has recently flourished in Rugby Union content creation. Max has gone through some incredible experiences and adventures along his journey and details some of them more in this episode. We hope you enjoy it and we'll hand over to our conversation now.
No, I think it's important to remember when you're a bit younger, 15, 16, it's like your whole life revolves around school and your mates and things like that. But it's like, if you can get in early these days with like whatever work you're doing, when you're 21, 22, 23, you start to really realize, shit, I need to work and like live and make money and stuff. So if you can get in early when you're like in your teenagers and you stick with it and be consistent, think when you're 20, 21, mate, you're going to be like 5 years ahead of everyone else who's just coming out of, school or college or whatever.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. One question we ask our other guests is because they're mainly athletes or stuff like that. We ask them, "What's it been like to compete or to say you've been at that elite level of sport? What's it been like for you to be in and around and filming and meeting people within the elite world of sport?"
Well, I think it's class because most people involved in sport are like really sound people. Everyone loves the sport. Everyone's doing it for, the same kind of reasons, really. It's like the passion's there, which is fun. And for me, being able to experience that in so many different verticals of like filming or meeting people or whatever, traveling, it's like, that's it's a dream job, and it's a just
Yeah,
be involved in sport. So for me, I love it.
yeah, you can tell that it's such a competitive market now.
Mm.
Trying to separate yourself from the crowd, definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I thank you for your time today, Max. This has been ace doing this interview with you today, and seeing you, even seeing you in the rugby guy at Twickenham when I went a couple of years ago. Like I got on the rugby guys YouTube channel trying to do a goosey, but I yeah. Our first question to you, Max, is what actually got you into playing rugby?
So I started playing rugby at school when I was about 15-ish, maybe. It was just in like PE or whatever. And there was one teacher at school that was like absolutely loved rugby. No one else did. None of the lads in my year did. There's probably like, I reckon, two people who played rugby in my school in my year, like outside of school. And we always played football. I'd always play football. And then, yeah, I started playing in PE a little bit and we played against other schools. And then, yeah, I just kind of loved it there. The teacher was like really always on me, like, Max, you need to go to a club outside school, which, yeah, well, I played football outside school with all my mates. So then it was like, I didn't really want to leave my football team. Um, but then I can't remember what happened. I think the team might have gone like, team might have folded, the football team. It was all a bit over the place. And then I kind of just thought, oh, I'll just try and go down to, I went down to Warsaw. And yeah, just kept playing from there, really.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
And your transition into content creation, did
Mm.
that feel natural? And also, what did you feel getting into it? Because it's quite a big leap, isn't it, putting yourself out there?
Yeah, I mean, well, I've like had a YouTube channel since I was like about 12, like random stuff when I was younger. I don't know, like gaming, skits, all this random shit. But then this channel now, I've probably had about 4 years or so, which it was kind of just in and out of lockdown. But then because I'd started doing coaching, personal training, I started with like fitness coaching and stuff like that. And I knew that if I wanted to do online coaching, then I'd need to put myself out there on social media. And for me, it felt pretty natural. I'm pretty confident anyway, but then I do remember the first time I spoke on camera, that was like I refilmed it about 10 times and I was like hated it and I was like, this is so awkward. Because I only posted stuff of like with music on or just and then I remember Eddie Hall did a challenge that was like, how many press-ups can you do in a minute or something? And I had to speak at the start, like saying my name and stuff, and it was dreadful. If you can find that on my Instagram page, it's horrible, but uh, Nah, it got a lot easier over time, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you had that first video that blew up, was that like a way of saying I've officially made it, or
Nah,
what?
I mean, I still don't think that. I'm like, we're really early. I mean, I liked making videos. I still do. I love editing. I love all the production side of things, and just I'm like a nerd like that.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I did. I had my Instagram account. I didn't have TikTok for a while, to be fair, but I just had my Instagram accounts, and I posted on there every day on Instagram, multiple times a day. I was really like learning about editing and everything to do with social media for like nearly a year, and I think I had like 2,000 followers, which was pretty much just all like people local in my area and people that knew me. Um, but then I remember I had one video. It was like a push-up chat, well, not a push-up challenge, like a push-up workout at home chest workout that like did really well. Um, and I gained like 20,000 followers from it on Instagram. And I was like, well, that's crazy. But 11 months before that, I'd been posting it every single day with just 2,000 followers. Um, so yeah, that was like a moment to me. I was like, oh my God, I remember hitting 10K followers and I was in the gym and I was like refreshing my page and I was like, I can't believe I've got 10,000. Like, it's, changed from 9,000 to 10K on Instagram. Uh, but very quickly, when I'd like reached an achievement like that, it was like, 5 minutes later, it's like, all right then, let's
Yeah,
go.
fair enough. Absolutely agree. Yeah, we're hoping to get up there eventually.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, when you look at your channel as well, a lot of people know you for the Rugby Union content as well. And I guess with it being a passion of yours, did you feel like that gap in the market maybe was something you definitely wanted to explore? And obviously, how happy are you that the people are enjoying that and are taking that on board?
Mm. So, I mean, it's a funny one because I started doing content and I'd done like YouTube and Instagram, TikTok, and it was all kind of like fitness or just random other things. Um, like when I first started YouTube, my first couple of videos is like 10,000 calorie challenges. I made the world's largest Happy Meal, made the world's largest protein pancake. It was all random stuff, nothing to do with rugby. And then when I started posting on TikTok a little bit more, there'd be times where I didn't have anything to post, and I was like, oh, what do I do, whatever. And then I would just post a few of the video highlights, like if I'd scored or something like that, just random, just as like filler posts, as like, oh, it's something to post. And then they didn't do very well compared to the fitness stuff initially. But then like people started to ask for more rugby stuff or ask me more questions about rugby, which I just naturally kind of kept posting a little bit more about it. And then as I'd started to post more about rugby, I realised quite early on that I was like, oh, hold on, there's not much at all to do with rugby, like on social media. I mean, it's just all like professional pages or there's no personalities within rugby that aren't, that are doing social media. There was like the rugby guy, which I knew, he did stuff and a few others, but it was not many that were doing like really high quality stuff. It was there was nothing out there. So then I slowly went into that a little bit more, but still was doing a lot of fitness content. And then over time, the rugby stuff just started doing way better than the fitness, or like it was on par. And then it fell into like that's all I was doing then was just rugby stuff.
Yeah, was there a particular moment then, maybe an opportunity or a brand that really changed your perspective from going, right, I'm going to properly go into the rugby?
I think when I started to get more views on the rugby stuff and my YouTube videos were doing a little bit better with rugby. And then I remember early doors, I had like been invited down to Twickenham, like pitch side with my nan to go and watch some like watch England versus France. I think it was the first game. And at that point, I was like, I could not believe I was pitch side having an interview with Danny Care, Nolly Waterman. I was like, what the hell am I doing? I felt like a celebrity at that point. I was like, oh my God, I'm like, but and also at that point, because I've been posting lots about rugby, but I hadn't been to a rugby game for a while, like since I've been posting it, and then going to the England game, then there was like people who knew me asking for
Yeah.
pictures, this is this, and I'd never I mean, I hadn't experienced it like that, and I was like, that is mad. So then that made me really want to just keep pushing for it and keep going back.
Yeah. How often do you get spotted? Is it regular? Because obviously you have grown quite a big audience
Yeah.
now, I guess.
Yeah, it's a bit of a random. It's I don't know because you never know who watches your stuff. But
Yeah,
then if I go to like an England game or any kind of rugby game, it's quite a lot, which is I'd kind of expect that nowadays because again, there's still not loads of social media rugby, so it's like if someone watches rugby and uses social media regularly, they probably would have seen one of my videos pop up
yeah.
somewhere. So yeah, rugby games, it's a lot, which is it's always fun because like it for me, it like also puts in my head like right, these numbers that you see on TikTok and stuff, it's actually people like
Yeah, yeah.
real people that watch and then to be able to meet them, talk to them, and just most of just normal rugby lads and it on sound, so that's good. But then there is sometimes where when I don't expect it, like at the airport or
Mm.
if I go on a night out, that's normally quite a lot because once people have had a drink, they're a lot more confident to come and give me some shit or whatever. But yeah, it's funny.
Do you do you get any stick when you play?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Every single time I play, I'm targeted big time.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's giving me shit on the sidelines. It's always put that on your TikTok. If I like get tackled normally or miss a tackle or something, it's like fucking hell, put that on your TikTok. Yeah, 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 but like, I'm used to it now. It's every game.
I, I think you got to look back through your footage and where you broke my ankles.
Yeah, I'll have
Little
to.
little red scrum that's gonna go viral. That.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as you work in like the West Midlands, do you feel like rugby's underrepresented as well?
What like in the West Midlands?
Yeah, because like you've got Leicester that's what,
Yeah.
an hour away from Birmingham and Gloucester that's an hour away. Like, do you feel like there's even bigger pressure with you coming from like Birmingham and the West Midlands?
Yes, that's a bit of a funny one because like the area that I'm from, Warsaw, is like not very big in rugby. There's quite a lot of local teams around here, to be fair, and grassroots.
Yeah,
Within the 5 mile radius, 10 mile, there's a lot of grassroots clubs, so that's good. But then in terms of like, there's not a local professional team. That the closest is Leicester, so it's not like you've got those fans round here, like, for a game day, the city's buzzing, stuff like that. So it's one of them like where I haven't grown up watching rugby or supporting a team. Because it's just not as popular here. Where, if you went down south or even up north with league, it is very different. So yeah, I think it doesn't really make a difference to me, but I do think it's why sometimes I kind of stand out a little bit more because I'm not like a typical rugby lad or whatever anyone thinks the stereotypes, but it's like I'm just my accent gives it away, and yeah,
Yeah, I guess you
yeah,
kind of touched then about, a lot of people do have that perception that rugby's a posh sport. I mean, me and Ben have played rugby for over 10 years of our lives, and I don't really think I've ever played with someone that I'd deem posh. Do you
Mm.
still, I mean, I saw a video you made the other day about
Yeah.
that. Just touch on that. Do you think that is still a stereotype, and what do you think about that?
I think it is a stereotype just because of the history of rugby and especially down south it is like it's more posh and more upper class I'd say, but it's definitely changed over the last couple of years I think, and just experiencing more cultures in rugby I think it's not posh. Like I went to my first rugby league game the other day at Wigan, and that was like there was no fucking brown shoes in sight. It was like everyone's up screaming, chanting, giving the opposition shit, and it's like, right, this reminds me of a football game,
Yeah.
and it was class. But then, it's still got those kind of deep roots of upper class people. If you go to Twickenham, it's very much, you know, well done and etc. But it's still a. it's a variety, but then to say rugby as a whole is posh, I don't think it is because there's so many countries and stuff that
Mm.
aren't, or areas of countries. South Africa, I wouldn't say it's posh there, or France, or Wales, but there's some certain areas which I think a non-rugby fan would probably assume it to be posh.
Yeah.
You mentioned about going into rugby league there in your first game, and I'm really sorry that you had to suffer going to Wigan, considering I'm a Leeds fan. Um, but what do you prefer it? Do you think there's a place for both sports? Because
I mean, go on.
there's like a lot of when because I was at Hartbury College and that's like all rugby union and
Mm.
being a Leeds fan, it's like you just stood out and they were like so anti rugby league.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
feel there's a space for it? Do you feel like they can both like live and
Coexist.
survive as well?
So that for me, because I've only really been exposed to rugby union, like I knew of rugby league, of course, but like I didn't really know what the divide was like. I'm like I didn't I just knew people used to comment it on my TikToks all the time, like rugby league on top or rugby league's better, and I'm like I don't really give a fuck. It's just rugby at the end of the day, isn't it? But then I did, going to the game, it was class. Like, I liked the sport was really good because it was like non-stop. There was, I think in the first half, there was probably two or three scrums. It was ridiculous, non-stop play. There's no lineouts. It was easier to watch. I'd say, less gaps
Yeah.
and breaks. But then, I mean, for me, it's like, it's just rugby. I'd like to play it, to be fair. I'd like to give it a go. Um, which I might do at the end of this season, but I think to be fair, I don't really know much about how they both coexist and what the difference is, but I don't really care what. It's just rugby in the end of the day.
I mean, you
Yeah.
should come and play alongside me, be my winger. I'll put you in the corner every time.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Not sure about that, Shirley.
Um,
Yeah, so we go to quite a bit of rugby league, especially where we're based. A lot of rugby league around us, and there's the one thing that you notice is you said before it is a bit like football, especially with the away sections.
Yeah, yeah.
When you compare that to rugby union, there isn't a lot of the atmosphere with chants, is there? Do you think that's something you quite like to see in rugby union, or some of that chanting? Not to the same extent with the
Yeah,
separation, but
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
a bit
I,
more.
I mean, I loved it because the atmosphere was class. It was like the whole 80 minutes. Lee were literally like chanting. Their away fans were out singing the whole of the stadium. It was mad. It was like that for a younger fan is a lot more exciting than, singing Swing Low, Sweet Chariot once during the
Yeah.
whole game or whatever. But it was, I don't know, it's one of them. I think it's different fan bases, isn't it? And but for me personally, I thought it was class. Like I'd love to get there on a Saturday and smash some beers and start, embarrassing myself singing. But uh,
we'll take you to Headingley then, Max.
yeah, 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 yeah. Sounds
Come up,
good.
come up and watch a Rhinos game.
I
Proper
know.
rugby, proper
Everyone's
club.
everyone's been texting me like because I went to Wigan. I just got the invite from Sky Sports, and it was like all my comments were like, "Come to this, come to that, come to this game." And I was like, I don't even know any of the teams.
When you
Well,
send
league for the best.
Sky Sports invite there, and we've seen you on the For the Love of Rugby, a fantastic podcast, and we've seen you everywhere nowadays. How proud does that make you feel? Because you've come from literally being making a couple of gym TikToks to being on Sky Sports and all these big podcasts.
Yeah, it is mad sometimes because when I actually get to do these experiences, and I'm like, for the love of rugby, I'll listen to that podcast all the time. It's
Yeah,
class. And then when I'm on set there with Ben and Dan, and like they know me and watch all my stuff, and it's like. In the moment, it just kind of happens, but then afterwards, you do think, how the fuck have I ended up with like some ex legends of rugby? And I'm like, what? There's a lot of times where I am like, what the hell? But no, it is mad. It's crazy.
So you touched on collaborations there. What would be your best collab as content production, and then the best collab as a player or person in rugby?
Um, well, I mean, I did the stuff with Antoine Dupont and Airbnb, which was
Special.
when I got that call up, I was like, because my manager just said to me like, right, do you want to go to France next week? Because my manager's not really that rugby. He kind of knows a bit, but he's more other brands and stuff. He was like, do you want to go to France next week with Airbnb to do some stuff with Antoine Dupont? And I was like, uh, what, are you fucking joking? And he's like, well, who's that? And I was like, mate, get me there. So that was crazy. And then I also did some stuff with the All Blacks and Adidas Pro Direct, which was mad to me. Like Jody Barrett,
Mm.
Rick Ioane, Hardy Savia, Cody Taylor. Um, I want to meet Johnny Wilkinson. That's what I want to meet, which I think I am next month. I think I've got something lined up next month with him, so
Spoiler.
hope that goes ahead.
Yeah, that one would be special.
Yeah.
And while we're on the topic of collabs and trips, you've just come back from South Africa. Uh,
Mhm.
so talk us through that trip. What was it like out there, and what did you get covered? Did you get everything covered you wanted to as well?
Yeah. So yeah, it was unreal. Literally found out the week before, and I was going to the 10 series there, which was class. Like the culture there, everyone loves rugby. It seems that just it's their number one sport. It seems everyone is interested in the Springboks or Stormers or whatever it is. Um, and mate, it was unreal. I didn't get up to much rugby. I did a lot of drinking. But yeah, it was class there, and just the South Africa as a country and Cape Town, that kind of experience was just like nothing like in Europe or anything I've kind of done before. So I loved it, and we did all the touristy things as well. Went on safari and went to the penguins on the beach. So mate, it was class there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very, very jealous. South Africa is definitely on my bucket list.
Mm.
Have you got anything lined up for the Six Nations so far?
Yeah,
In terms of
so collabs and
what you got,
stuff.
yeah, what you got lined up for coming up very shortly.
So Saturday I'm going to the England Scotland game. Um, Then I've got the Wales England game at the Principality, which I'm buzzing for. I've never been there, so
Oh, it's good. It
yeah,
is very good.
I've heard it's really good there. So I'm buzzing to go to that. I don't know if I've got anything else on there. Just those two are confirmed, but you never know with like this kind of stuff because sometimes it's always last minute and they're like, right, shit, Max, do you want to come? But, it's Thursday and they're like, oh, do you want to come on Saturday? I'm like, great, but I'm
And
enjoying it so far.
and and how do you reckon England are doing as a whole?
I think, I mean, after the first game, I was very frustrated. Because I was like, it's the same kind of thing as the autumn. It's like we could have won that game, but we didn't. And then I was watching the England France game when I was in South Africa. It was funny watching it there as well because I was watching this really crowded sports bar. Nobody's watching the England game. Everyone's watching the cricket, and it was just me, me and this other one English guy. Um, but then when I was watching that, I was really happy with the performance. I thought we played class. But then when they scored in like the 70th minute or something, I was like, oh my fucking God, it's happened again. We've lost it in the last minute again, and then Daly comes on and scores that, and I'm going mad in this South African bar, and everyone's like turning around like, what is he doing? Because the cricket's on. But no, I'm pretty hopeful. Hopefully, we win against Scotland this weekend. But yeah, still due to see the improvements.
Well, there's rumour that there's no Finn Russell, so that should be a bonus.
Yeah, wish Finn the best, but it would be great if he didn't play. I'd rather than sit this one.
100%.
And what are your
100%.
predictions for the rest of the Six Nations then? Because we've still got, well, as of the time of recording, there's still three more rounds. So what are your predictions for the duration of that?
Well, for England, I think we get this one out of the way, Scotland, and then we should be all good there. Initially, I was like France to win, then Ireland, then England, but I don't know, France and Ireland. I mean, we beat France, and they didn't look at their best not last week, week before, but I don't know. I think it comes down to that game, really, France and Ireland. How does that pan out? And yeah, Wales. Good luck. Try and move on.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Like, yeah, fair enough.
yeah, they've been.
Um,
They've not been at the races. You could say. Hopefully, your mate Antoine Dupont does us a favour then in that Ireland v France game.
Yeah, I hope so. But I think this is one thing about like predictions and teams and things like that. It's like, mate, I'm the worst person to ask about this stuff. Like, I'm the most casual rugby fan. Like, I probably know as well a little bit more than my mom. It's like I don't. I'm not like I'm. When I did that podcast for the love of rugby, it's like there's Squidge and then there's me, the
Yeah.
complete opposite.
yeah.
Like, I'm just there for the crack, but uh, it's very surface level is what I am with that noisy stuff.
I mean, you won the quiz, so are you sure about that?
I mean, that was I think we did get a bit of help from Coley, the quizmaster, with some extra rounds and bonus points, but I'll still take the win.
Yeah, you
Win's
always
a win.
we
Exactly.
say we say in cricket the wicket. It doesn't say how you get out on the scorecard, or the goal. If you score a goal and it doesn't say how you scored, it just says goal by Max Brown. So
Exactly.
there you go. If we're talking, we'll go back to the content creation side of thing. You said you get a bit of stick on the football pitch, but you've also said you've had a lot of nice interactions in real life with people in different stadiums. And obviously, I don't know, do you read your comments for one? And what's your overall comment section looking like? Do you actually get any hate or is it mainly positive?
Yeah, I do read most of the comments. And to be fair, it's mostly good. Like there's not I don't get much shit or because I don't think I'm like I might be slightly controversial, but I never give my, like I just said, I never really give my opinion too much on things. It's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm saying, England are this and this, or should be doing this because I don't know. I just try and make fun videos. But at the odd time, I'll get some shit from someone like saying I'm playing in a farmers league or like if I got fucking smashed or something in a game, someone will be like, oh, I'll upload my try, and then they're like, oh, why don't you show the bit of you getting smashed or something? I'm like, I will, I will. Don't worry, it'll be in the full video. But nah, my comments are normally pretty good, and I mean, anyone who comments any bad shit, it really just doesn't bother me anymore. It's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, perfect.
With
Okay,
with
I think.
with playing at Walsall, and obviously it's a local club, so it's on a Saturday.
Mm.
Do you feel like you can't really devote as much time as you'd like to play for them in terms of with your added content stuff?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I've only played like 10 games a season, I think. Which like I've missed quite a lot of weekends because sometimes a lot of the work that I do does fall on the weekends. And it is annoying sometimes because I want to play, I still want to play, but then it's like it's my job. I can't turn down stuff and turn down money. So I have to work on the weekends. Just as some of the lads, sometimes work in the police or whatever, and they work on the weekends, so can't make it. Um, so yeah, I do wish I could prioritize it a little bit more, but at the end of the day, it's like I've got to take these opportunities whilst I can. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
To be
how are
fair,
your mates like with you as well? Are they nice and understanding and
yeah, yeah.
to think about you filming on the games and do they hear what shit you get as well?
Yeah. I mean, they all love it. They love the fucking. If they get some good highlights, they're all texting me straight after, like, oh, send me this, send me that. And it's good to watch. I always think of it as this way as well. As like in 10 years' time, we can all watch back our games like at a really good quality video. Like,
Yeah.
when I'm in my 40s, I can watch my games when I'm 20 and with all the lads. So it's always good, and they love it. The club are really supportive as well. They understand that I've sometimes got things going on the weekends that I can't make, so they're quite supportive of that, which is always good.
Yeah. You said that about meeting up and watching the old games back. I mean, my dad used to play cricket, and he has a clip of them winning a cup, and from like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and they all met up to watch the clip back, pretty much
Yeah,
exactly as you described. So
yeah, yeah,
I imagine that's something that'd be quite good.
yeah, definitely.
Therefore, we talked about South Africa before, a lot of collaborations, and you went out to Dubai for the sevens.
Yeah.
As an experience, where does that rank, and what was that like? Because I imagine Dubai isn't the biggest rugby country.
Well, Dubai, it shocked me. I knew the sevens was going to be huge, like as anything is in Dubai. It was like they had Stormzy performing, they had millions of food trucks, paddle courts, everything you could imagine in this one facility. And the sevens is really good quality. It's obviously in the World Series as well, so that's class to watch. And it did shock me. And then speaking to a lot of people out there. I didn't realize how big rugby actually is there. They've got teams, they've got leagues, they've got a lot of expats who play. So yeah, it was class, and I think I'm going back this year again for the seven. So I can't wait to get back there.
Yeah, you should go to Hong Kong.
I
My
know.
granddad
I've
went,
been
and
trying.
but both my granddads went to Hong Kong when England won it in 2003, and they were like, "It's the best
Yeah.
experience I've ever had." So, yeah, go get to Hong Kong.
I know.
Uh,
I've heard it's really good, and it's next month, isn't it? So I've been trying to swindle my way in somehow. Been,
Although to be fair, I was in Hong Kong last month. We went on holiday, and that is one hell of a place. What a
yeah,
beautiful place. But also they've still got it up advertising everywhere, so they're
yeah.
preparing for it. So yeah. But if you said you'd like to try and swindle your way in there, is there anywhere else that you're hoping to get to that you've not had the call for yet?
The Lions.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got something in the works at the minute, so I don't
you
know.
got room for two more?
Yeah, yeah. Let me try and get two more tickets. So that's one that I do want to do this year, definitely. Um, and I've got tons of other trips lined up this year anyway, so that should be really, really fun with the Lions. I'd love to get to that.
Speaking of the Lions, is it true that you did something with the Vodafone with the last series?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I that was before I'd even started well, like properly. I hadn't posted anything about rugby at this point, really. I'd like posted a few pictures here and there, but nothing like it is now. And I literally just got a message from a random sport agent and was like, "I do you play rugby? Yeah. Do you want to come?" It was a really random message as well because it was a dodgy message. It didn't seem real, and they were like, "Right, here's the fee," and it was like I can't remember how much, but I'm sure it was like 3 or 4 grand for like 2 days of this advert with Vodafone and everything. And I was like, at that point, I was like, that don't sound right. And then I got the official email and stuff from Vodafone. Yeah, went down and did the advert in London for them. It was unreal.
Yeah, I
I
bet
mean,
it
I
was.
wasn't really in the advert. I was cast as Owen Farrell's body double. Which I really don't see. I think he's a little bit taller than me. Um, but you can see my boots in the video and over my shoulder. That's about it. For
You,
about half a second.
you can still say it you though, lad.
Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
that. And I got to meet a few of the players, which was cool. Got a signed jersey.
Nice. But you said that got to meet a few of the players, and you said
Mhm.
about obviously meeting Coley and Ben Youngs on the podcast, DuPont. Where do they all rank in terms of the best people you've met? Who are your Mount Rushmore of people that you
Yeah.
met with?
It's hard. Because everyone that I've met, I've never had a bad experience really with any rugby players that I've met because they're all just sound rugby lads. Like it's one of them. And to be honest, a lot of the times I've actually met people who've done stuff and I don't know who they are, which is quite bad on my part. But like I said, I'm not a rugby nose. I don't know the ins and outs of all the players. So it's hard to put, a, put some names together. But I mean, Antoine Dupont was class to me. He was really humble and nice, and the fact that we got to spend like most of the afternoon, a couple of hours with him and play some rugby, which was good. Coley and Ben was fun. Uh, all the GBR boys as well. It was good. I worked with them quite a bit. And I don't know, I'm trying to think who I've met the most or things.
You
But
did
I've
the thing at the
got
O2 with England, didn't you?
the O2.
Yeah, the thing with England at the O2 as well.
Yeah, that was good. I actually got to meet the whole team then, which was class at that point. It was like I'm in a room with everyone. That was
Yeah, not at all jealous.
no, it was and I look back at that point and I'm like, why the fuck did I not get a signed jersey of everyone? I didn't get anything. I just got a few pictures and I did a video, but I'm like, mate, that would have been class for my club or like
Yeah, yeah.
in my office or something.
Yeah. Well, a lot of clubhouses, especially what I think at my club, there was a lot of shirts from games and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, missed opportunity
But
there.
I only just clocked onto it recently, really, because like I've done all these things. I've never really got stuff because I'm like, what am I going to do with it? You know, a signed jersey's cool or whatever, but I was never really that bothered about them. But then I thought, you know, I could get so many for my club. My clubhouse would be like the
Yeah,
Wall of Fame. I got a ball from Antoine Dupont. It says to Warsaw and then signed.
yeah, that's cool.
That's a pretty cool one they've got. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
need, I need to go back down and play against Walsall now then, don't I?
and have
yeah.
a look at all the shirts. Yeah, that's something. But I was thinking this with obviously because I do work with my local football club Rochdale, who I support as well, which I'm really happy and proud with. And I had a shirt from when I was little of a player I used to watch, and I met him. I got to interview him, so he signed it to James, and I've got it
Yeah,
up
yeah,
in my house now, which is cool. It's just something nice to look
yeah.
back
It's like
at.
nostalgic, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, if you were to, let's say, in a fantasy world, you can play against anybody and get their shirt and get that signed and framed. You could pick anybody. Who would you pick?
I would have to say Johnny Wilkinson. I think
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
it's a classic, you know.
yeah. You mentioned him before, didn't you? Yeah.
And what about position specific for you? Because obviously you're a winger. Who
Uh,
who would that be? I mean,
uh,
which winger would you like to take on?
who would I like to take on? Oh God, probably not many.
Jonah Lomu. One on one with Jonah
Yeah.
Lomu,
Oh God, no, no thanks. Cheslin Colby's got to be one of my favourite wingers. I think.
Yeah.
Uh, well, Jason Robinson, that'd be a pretty cool one.
Yeah.
You know.
absolutely.
Yeah, I wouldn't like Mark and Colby. I'm not the most agile you could
No, mate.
maybe say.
Mate,
I think
let me
it's
tell
a
you
little
that.
bit roomy.
I got stepped on Saturday by a 41-year-old, so it's absolutely dreadful.
You got to be
I
careful.
mean,
No, I mean, I get nutmegged at five aside by 40-year-olds. You
Yeah,
can't
I
be
mean, the
careful.
thing was, it'll be in my video this weekend, but they're 10 through a really wide pass, and I was already jammed in a little bit. So then I had to sprint. We're only 5 meters out from the try line here, and I've sprinted all the way across to the wing, and I've seen him. I'm playing against him. I'm like, right, he ain't gonna step it. I thought he was just gonna try and go for the corner or
Yeah.
try and hit me. And so I sprinted all the way across to him, and then as I've got to him, I mean, I wouldn't really call it a step. It was more of a slow down and move inside. But I'd already full on overcommitted to smashing him into touch, and he's just gone on the inside. I'm like, oh my God, that was I'm proudest moment.
I think I got when you did me, it was just like, oh no. Like
It
and you
happens to
didn't
the
just
best.
you didn't just step me, you turned me inside out and back to front. It was horrible.
The worst one for
Like
me when I played football, like, captain of my team, dead proud, and playing in midfield, and you'd be playing Saturday in the rain, in the mud, and some little nippy guy had put it through your legs, turn you one way, turn you the other way. You just stood there thinking, I've woke up at 8 in the morning to get
Yeah.
embarrassed by this little fella. Yeah, there's nothing worse. So if we're going back to your content creation and the rugby and all that folded into one, moving forward, what do you try and aim to do with it? How big are you looking and how much do I do with it?
So I mean, my kind of main goal really is always just to like show the fun side of rugby, make it seem cool. Like, do you know what I mean? I want the kids to look up to me or as a person who's like, what I'm doing is pretty cool and they enjoy it. And also like just stuff that people my age would enjoy, which
Mm,
is what I want to do. But kind of this year, I really want to travel as much as possible, grow the audience, show different sides of rugby. Because I've done a few years now, obviously in England, of like showing my games and going to things in England, but after South Africa and now I was like, right, I want to get all over the world this year and just try and do as much as possible. Uh, and also grow outside of rugby because like I've got a lot of followers that are not involved, like they don't watch rugby at all because I'd already got a following from like the gym or other
Yeah,
other things before I even went over to rugby. So then I've managed to kind of well, if they watch rugby, it's probably me, but getting people interested in rugby who wouldn't be normally, or people who have been in the past, and then I've been able to then motivate them to or inspire them to get back playing.
yeah. And
Yeah,
when you look at the numbers objectively as well, I mean, I think I saw a post where even like the top 10 rugby accounts in the world. Did you ever think it'd get that big? But also, how does that make you feel when you look at it like that?
I mean, that's pretty mad. And yeah, I mean, when you think of it, like I said, there's still not loads of rugby
Mm.
social media. There is, but it's like there's some podcasts but then creators individually, it's not a mass. It's not like compared to football or the gym or something like that. It's not as big. So I mean, to be in and around the top of that is mad to me. But I do think from early doors when I kind of transitioned into it, I was like, right, I could do this, yeah, because
Yeah.
I've got the skills with content and editing and to really stand out apart from everyone else. But then it's all kind of just happened so quickly, and next minute I'm with Antoine Dupont or doing some crazy experiences, which is it's mad.
How big of a part do you think TikTok's played in that? Because that has obviously been a massive tool for a lot of people. And we've seen, you said before about the rugby guy and the gooses,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also for them kind of short format videos. How do you think that benefits you and the part that
Yeah.
plays?
I think it's massive. It's what attention is currency nowadays. It's like if you're getting viewership, and TikTok's massive, Instagram's been the same. TikTok's I'd say it's easier to grow on and easier to initially grow on, and it's huge. Like, when people come up to me, it's like I'm always interested to what they say. Oh, you're from TikTok or you're from
Yeah, yeah.
YouTube or whatever, and it's normally TikTok is probably the main one. And I think TikTok's great, but it is important to kind of diversify across all platforms to really maximize the audience and community. Like,
Yeah, the different formats, because some people might not want to watch TikTok, some people
yeah,
might want to watch YouTube. We found that ourselves a bit when trying to grow the podcast is a lot of people of maybe an older generation just want to stick to YouTube and might not pay attention to Spotify or
or
TikTok.
like Facebook.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like I've got different audiences, and if I get a Facebook reel that blows up, I've got loads of middle-aged old men
yeah,
giving shit in the comments or whatever. But then TikTok, it's a lot of 16-year-olds in the comments. It's like
yeah,
it's important to do across all. And I think YouTube, longer format YouTube, is what really builds a more of a solid foundation and community feel because they're choosing to watch you. They're clicking on and watching, 10, 15, 20 minutes of you. They get to know you more than being fed a
yeah, yeah.
30-second video. So yeah.
Yeah, they almost because if something comes up on your For You page, that's almost without you choosing to, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah,
YouTube there
yeah.
too. Yeah, definitely.
you're speaking Chinese to me here, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben's of his own admittance, not the most technically minded, are you, Ben?
No, I would much rather be writing stuff on a pen and paper
Yeah.
than
Oh,
do
you've got to change with the times, my mate. You've got to change with the times.
Plenty to learn.
Yeah, that is obviously a testament to yourself, I guess, taking that initiative and moving with the times, I guess, because you've got to be able to learn with the editing and the
Mm,
content production. Was there
mm.
anybody when you first started out that you liked the style of, like another content creator, even if it was rugby or not, that you thought,
Yeah.
that's something I want to try and replicate?
Yeah. So I mean, I when I first started, I was always like probably everyone I was watching was American. It was
Mhm.
like, Nelk Boys and all that kind of stuff. It was mostly American YouTubers, so I love the Nelk style stuff. Which I think I'm gonna try and I've always tried to like, well, recently I'm trying to, with my South Africa video I did recently, I'm like, right, I could put a little bit of a Nelk spin on rugby
Mm.
stuff because rugby, if you go to a sevens festival or something, it's mad. It's like, the much you're drinking and you're getting fucked up. It's
Yeah.
like you could easily show that cool side of it. Uh, and then like I've lived in Spain the past 3 years in the summers, which has been a bit more travel and stuff like that. But I don't watch as much as I probably used to anymore. I do on TikTok and Instagram more than YouTube probably, but I need to keep up with the trends really. But something
Yeah.
a bit,
Uh, ca- Can we see, the POV guy that puts a
yes.
GoPro on his? Can we see some of that in game, please, Max?
I don't
Because
know.
that'll be
Well, I mean, I've spoke to him about it, and we spoke about how he does it, which is a classified secret that even World Rugby were trying to get hold of. So, but the problem with me doing that is in my league, everyone knows me. Well, like a lot of people know me. The refs know of me, watch the videos, and I would instantly get caught doing it. And it's not safe, really. You shouldn't be doing it. But Jacob, rugby expert, he travels all over the world, goes to random teams in like Portugal or a random low level team in wherever, and it's like not as risky. But then I wouldn't want it to come back on me, really, to be like, right, no, you can't wear that, can't do this. It's you're going to be have a ban or. My club, I think we got 5 points deducted anyway this season for too many red cards. So
Mm.
it's like, but I would like to do that if I go somewhere.
Yeah. Maybe with yeah, there was a charity rugby content game that was being discussed. Maybe
That,
in that or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
Where it's not people that are out to get you.
yeah, that will happen.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
So what is happening with this charity game then?
Yeah, so I mean, I get a lot of comments and messages about when's the Creators Cup happening, when's this happening, which was tough last time with where we got to. It was my first, I don't know, to run an event or like do anything like that, especially at that scale. So I was like really in the deep end here, and we did some really good work up to it. But it got pulled at the end. Actually had a conversation last week about it, which was very positive. It's going to be 2026, so next year, next summer. We are just still, well, picking up where we left off in the early stages, but I think it's going to be a good spectacle to watch.
yeah,
If you need two players, you've got two here, lad.
Exactly. Or water.
yeah. Shirley on the bench.
Oh.
We've got some
Ah,
water boys.
starting to stand off me.
What boys? Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah. Do you think that will take off then? Because especially with that rugby kind of side of content creation, we've seen you and people like the rugby guy, but it is growing now as well. Obviously,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
people are also seeing you and him and rugby expert, and people are seeing an avenue of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
content creation, aren't they now? So do you think it'll only just get bigger and better with extra creators as well?
Yeah, I think seeing over the past year or so, there's been a lot more that have come out. There's a lot of lads at local clubs or like national level clubs, and they're like filming their vlogs or doing things which I've loved to see. I'm like, whenever something pops up on my For You page that's like someone doing rugby, I'm
Yeah,
like, I'll like it or give a comment or something. I'm like, yeah, that's class because that's what we need to do. Um, and then yeah, obviously with a year's time to grow everyone even more, it's like uh, I want that to be a game where you've got like James Haskell running against bloody
Me.
you, or like some people as well. I want a lot of people, majority of people outside of rugby.
Well, as
Or
long as I get to squirt James Askell with water like Joe Marler, I'll be
I,
happy.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Um, yeah, no, like I want to get people who've maybe had some experience in rugby in the past, but then they're like now a celebrity or
yeah, yeah,
creator in a different avenue to
yeah.
do it.
Because a lot of
Well, the
people
Weasley, the
might
Weasley
have
twins are
played it at
looking good
school.
too.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
And you can get the Weasley twins from Harry Potter because they're both big rugby fans and big Gloucester fans. So if
Yeah.
you're going big, you go big or go home, Max.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I want
imagine that Haskell running at the Weasley brothers.
exactly that. Fred and
Mental.
George are fucked.
Yeah, I think Shirley should go into being a salesman because he spent half the episode trying to sell himself as a rugby player here. He does.
Oh well,
Well, he
I
started off
mean,
by telling me that I'd stepped him.
Yeah, no, he's
well,
managed to
yeah.
kind of play
Didn't
the
start
passive.
well, but it's getting there.
Oh, I come with the rough and the smooth, Matt. To finish this episode of the Sporting Blueprint, we always finish with questions. So our first question is: if you were sat opposite a young Max Brown today, what would be your advice to where you are now?
How young are we talking?
Just starting out, so that lad in year 9.
Year 9.
We could go like
Yeah,
15.
Yeah, let's go 15. I'd say
if I catch you after a game, of
we'll have a beer this time. I think for me, why I've come and done this as well is like, it's helping you guys out. It's, it needs to grow. The rugby needs to grow. And if me having a 40-minute conversation can help you guys and rugby as a whole, then it's like, yeah.
Yeah, we massively appreciate it. I mean, we're both big rugby fans. It's a big part of our lives, and
Mm.
just growing up with it, we have the same belief as you that we just want rugby to grow. So I'd like to, as Shirley said, like thank you for your time, Max. We wish you all the best with your 2025 adventures. We know you're here, there, and everywhere. So we appreciate you taking time to speak to us, and thank you very much.